Welcome back to Andersen Acres. We're in the kitchen again today, and today we're going to be making a black forest cake. This is a fun cake, not too difficult to make, but it still takes a little more work than your standard cakes. So, everyone has a slightly different recipe for their black forest cake. All right, everyone has it a little bit different. It doesn't matter, it's a little bit different. So, mine uses a little bit of brandy and a little bit of instant coffee to give you a really nice, rich flavor. So let's get started here. Okay, first thing we're going to do, pop that down, and we're going to use half a cup of softened butter. You could use softened margarine, it'll be fine in this particular recipe, but half a cup of your fat either way. Yes, you can use margarine. Go right ahead. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn that on low, just to cream it up a little bit. Then we're going to add 1.5 cups of just plain white sugar. And turn up the speed a little. Two eggs. Okay, good. We're going to put 1 tablespoon of instant coffee. And we're going to add 1 tablespoon of brandy. You can use any liqueur you have, really, but I'm using brandy. Now, if you really want this to have a really good unifying flavor, you can use the same brandy that you use in the cake for the icing. So, we're just going to whir that together. One cup of milk. And we're going to add, this is half a cup of cocoa powder. One and a quarter teaspoons of baking soda, not powder, soda, and half a teaspoon of salt. That's just table salt. It doesn't matter what salt you use. If you have Himalayan or sea salt, use that instead. Whir that together. Now we're going to get 2 cups of all-purpose flour in here, and then we're just going to let that mix until it is thoroughly incorporated. All right, however long that takes you, that's how long it takes. So we're going to turn that on, whir that together. Okay, you want to stop for a minute. Use a rubber spatula to scrape down your sides. There we go. Make sure you're scooping up any butter that might not have been fully incorporated, because that happens. Okay. That off my spatula. Yeah. Okay, we're just going to mix it up just a little bit more. All right. That is our cake mix. So I'm just going to move this out of the way for a second. There we go. And now, I'm going to move that. We're going to prep our pans. So you're just going to need 2 8 or 9 inch, it doesn't really matter, 8 inch, 9 inch, not that much difference. You'll need 2 round cake pans. You could use square if you like. There's no rule saying Black Forest has to be round. So I'm just using a canola oil cooking spray to grease them up so there's no sticking. This cake can be a little bit sticky, so be generous with the spray. Okay, there we go. Okay, keep these here. And let's go get our mix. Okay. Our mix. All mixed, all looking good. It smells really good. I know you can't smell it because we're on camera, and you can't smell things on camera. But this smells really good. You know, the instant coffee and the brandy give it a really nice aroma. So we're going to divide it in half, put half in each pan. Really, really simple. There we go. And we're just gonna, sorry for blocking the camera, but this is difficult to do at not this angle. This is just the angle I'm at. Okay, so try to get as much out of that bowl as you can with your rubber spatula. Just like that. Yeah. There we go. There we go. That's not horrible. Give it a smooth in your pan here. Smooth that out. Give it a smooth. Same with this one. Give it a smooth. Okay. Now you're going to want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And you're going to kind of give these a shake and a bit of a tap to get air bubbles out and to level the batter. So give it a tap. You can tap them quite a bit for a couple minutes just to get that air out. But I'm not going to make you watch me do that because it's really boring and really annoying. So you're going to bake these for about 30 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So if you haven't already preheated your oven, now's a good time because you can just let these rest while you're waiting for the oven to preheat. So we will come back when these are baked and cooling. Then I'll show you what to do next. All right, our chocolate cakes have been cooling for about 10 minutes in the pan, and they did bake for a full 30 minutes. So at this point, you want to take them out of the pan and then let them cool completely. This can take an hour or two, depending on how cool it is where you live. Now, I have a fan right in this window pointed at them, so it won't take me that long. We'll be back in about 45 minutes to an hour to decorate the cake. All right, our cakes are perfectly cool, so now we're just going to set those aside for just a second, and we're going to get ourselves a can, an entire can of cherry pie filling, okay? Just the cherry pie filling you find at the store. So you dump that into a bowl, and then you're going to take just a splash of your brandy, same one you used for the cake, but just a splash. You don't need more than that, just a little splash. And you give that a mix into your cherry pie filling. Now, if you don't want to use brandy, you can use a splash of almond extract instead. That would allow you to still have the same effect, so you still get a little more moisture added into your cherry pie filling without the alcohol content. Now we're going to set that aside. Bring our cakes back, and you have to kind of take a look at your cakes, and you have to decide, are they flat enough? They should be really flat. This one baked up really flat. This one has a little bit of a dome, so we're just going to cut the top of that dome off with a sharp serrated knife. Turn this guy a little bit. 'Bit. 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 ' remove that to a separate plate. People can eat the trimmings all they like. Next up, you need a cake plate of some kind. Honestly, I'm just using a plastic container. I'm just using the lid as the plate because these cakes fit exactly in here. So that's what we're going to use. You're going to take one of your cakes and center it on that cake plate. Try to be as in the middle as possible. Then you're going to need some frosting. Now this is a brandy whipped frosting in here. So this is a whipped cream frosting with a little bit of brandy. You can also use just plain whipped cream frosting. It doesn't have to have the brandy, but you should load it into an icing bag. This is a really big tip, not one of those regular small tips. Use a nice big tip. And you just want to go around, just around the outside, okay? Around the outside. Perfect. Stick this back in the fridge while you're working. Whipped cream has to live in the fridge at all times. So now we're going to take half our filling and we're going to spoon it into the middle. Only half. Okay, take half your filling, spoon that into the middle, and push it to the edges. So basically you'll get only a single line of cherries because you don't want so much filling that your cake doesn't go together nicely. So you'll end up with a nice big row of cherries. There we go. There we go. Okay, second cake. Flip and drop it on top. And now we're going to do the exact same thing again. So we're going to get our frosting, our whipped cream frosting. Remember, always put it in the fridge between, even if it's only for 3 minutes. And we're going to do that again. And back in the fridge. Whipped cream melts, remember. Take the rest of your frosting, your cake your pie filling, and dump that on top. There we go. You can scrape out the bowl if you like and get the last little bits. But there we go. Now we have all of our filling. Push that around again to the edges. So you can use a fancier tip if you like. If you've watched me decorate cakes before, you know I'm not particularly good at it, so I just use a standard tip. But if you want, you can use a much fancier tip and have a much fancier cake happening. I chose not to do that because we all know how bad I am at actually decorating the cakes. Not my skill. I'm good at the baking. Mom's good at the decorating. There we go. So that is essentially a Black Forest cake. You can ice the sides if you want to. You do not have to. So it's a whipped cream frosting. Some people don't like too much whipped cream. So if you just put a ring around on each level, and then you can let people add extra whipped cream if they like, because some people do not like to be overwhelmed with the whipped cream. So that is literally our Black Forest cake. Simple, easy. It doesn't have to be as complicated as sometimes it seems. Just cherries, whipped cream, and chocolate cake. That's about it for us here today at Andersen Acres. I do hope you make a Black Forest cake at home. It's really not as hard as you think. We'll see you tomorrow.